Hi everyone, we're here at John Sadler's Auto Repair, and today we're doing an inspection for purchase on a 2010 Honda Accord that a customer bought from a local Honda dealership here in San Diego, California. The car drives down the road pretty good. It's losing a little bit of power when you try and merge on the freeway. Overall, rides pretty good. The windows, the doors, paint, all the functions seem to work pretty good. Start looking at some of the fluids. It needs transmission fluid pretty soon. The power steering fluid's old, the brake fluid's old. Then we did a brake inspection, and they had an invoice that the rear brake pads were replaced. So then I inspected the front brake pads. Let me show you what I found. So this is obviously your brake caliper. I took it off so we can actually get a good look at the brake pads. And then you have an inboard pad and an outboard pad. And here's the inboard pad. And the rule of thumb with brakes is when it's thinner than the material it's made to, when you look it up here and you look at the thickness of this, it's a lot thinner than the material it's made to. You look at this one out here, it's got quite a bit of material. It still has this chamfered edge on there. The reason that is this hardware is sticking. These guide pins, when people do brakes, they're supposed to take these pins out and lubricate them and put a black synthetic grease in there. Honda uses a different kind of grease. They give you a couple different options. But when you look at that pad, it's not supposed to be like that, and you compare it to the other side. So when they inspected it and did the other brakes, they did fine on the rear. When it got up here, they didn't do so good. It has a slight little taper. The rotor might be out of round just a little bit. But that brake pad, when you see there, it's more than 50% worn out. This one here obviously has more than 50%. So the thing about buying and selling cars in California is used car dealerships are at a higher standard than people just selling for private party. You can sell a vehicle as is. They actually have a DMV investigation department just for used car dealerships out in El Cajon, California, their DMV. And when you buy a used car in San Diego from a dealership, it's supposed to have at least 50% brakes on it and 50% tires. All the tires have 50%. The back brake pads are brand new. The front brake pads are worn out on the inboard side. So if this vehicle went through some kind of inspection at that dealership before they sold it to this consumer, they missed the boat big time on that one. The brake pads are worn out. And one more thing about the brake fluid, I mentioned it, but I'll show you how I found that out. Brake fluid has what's called a VASCAR rating, and it's a copper content of the fluid, how much copper is in the fluid. So good fluid's down here between 0 and 30, then it gets to 100, and 200 means it's almost worn out, 300 means replace it now, you know. And so I dipped this into her brake fluid master cylinder, and that's the color that I got. And you can see it's pretty darn close in between the 2 and 300. So the brake fluid copper content is too high. So it needs to have the brake fluid changed. So it's just one of those things when you're selling someone a vehicle, when you're a private individual, you can do whatever you want. When you're a local car dealership, you're supposed to have a higher ethical standard. With brakes and tires, it's a California law. It's supposed to be that way. So I'm making this video so the consumer can just go back to the general manager of that store. They can show the video to him. Say, look, do you want to fix my brakes or not? He'll either say yes or no or whatever he wants to do. Then the customer has several recourses that they can do, which I've already filled them in on. But the video speaks for itself, so they don't have to go through a lot of drama where we think that that's still good, you know? So this takes all the drama out of it and is speaking with cold, hard facts. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a great day.